special. I just wanna see more desto. Hit you throwing, I'ma catch those. Mexican, dummy pesos. Hit you sus, I'll replace those. Number save, no name though. We need more, tell them we need more. Putting numbers on the board, like them keep a score. Ay, 16 cars in my front yard. Ay, 30 on my wrist, bullet point to God.
Big numbers, big numbers. 100 in a bag, that's a big number. Big numbers, big numbers. Whole team got it.
Now we're cooking. It's a coach. You're immersed in the NFL on EA Sports. Coming up, running back Dalvin Cook. He's back and coming off a big game a weekend ago, as it'll be the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Detroit Lions. I'll see you again at halftime as we preview some of the action coming up on Sunday. But for now, it's Thursday Night Football. And on the call, as always, is Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
First opened in 2002. There's a look inside Ford Field here in downtown Detroit, the Motor City. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, we look at this Lions team entering play. They were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Vikings, it's late in the year. We all know it. We've seen the calendar for these guys. Their bodies could probably use a break, but they have to push on.
And they're really not as worried about that as maybe we think. They know they've got the entire offseason to rest. All they care about is the game in front of them and finishing strong.
They'll bring it back to just about the 25, call it the 24-yard line. So here are the Lions now coming out for their opening drive. Leading the charge at quarterback, the former Georgia Bulldog, Matthew Stafford.
And it felt like in watching the game tape, he got everyone involved last week.
He was a manager.
He really was. That's a great way to put it because they ran the ball some, they threw it accurately. 1 touchdown pass, so he didn't, break the bank doing that, but he didn't throw any interceptions. That's the bottom line. That's why a defense loves a quarterback like that. Doesn't put them in bad situations.
Set! 180! Watch my boy! Wild Bill! Watch safety creep! Watch safety creeping! Safety's creeping! Shift! Check! Lucky! Zero! Check 4!
The first carry now. This is Johnson. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. First down, Lions on a pickup of 13. Well, one unit I know you want to watch is that offensive line. If they keep clearing holes like that, it could be a long night defensively.
No doubt about it, because when they are in sync, as we're seeing so far, when that continuity is there and you can see that they're playing off of each other while controlling the defensive front linebackers, you're exactly right. It could be a very long night for the defense because someone's going to run for some big yardage.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Stafford. That's caught by the big tight end, T.J. Hockenson. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. 25 yards that time.
I do believe we'll see a little bit more of this as this game progresses because when you can have that type of a gain in the middle of the defense, it hurts them in so many ways because most teams like to be strong down the middle. And if you can sting them there, that opens things up for you on the outside as well.
But that's where their big tight end, is so good, that middle third, the seam routes, the in routes. Yeah, you're right. Probably see more of that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and fortitude to go in the middle as well, and he's got it.
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down.
Kill. 50-50. Switch it.
Now the former Terrapin, this is Ty Johnson. He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play. And we look now at the Lions offense.
And congratulations on their win last week, but they didn't get a whole lot of time to celebrate it on Sunday. They were right back to work on Monday, but you'll have to do things differently when you prepare for a Thursday night game, because normally you'll take some time off. Here you get right back to work on the game plan mentally, and probably not put any pads on until you play again Thursday night.
They stay on the ground. This time it's Johnson. Works his way inside the 30 on a pickup of 4. This is how they will line it up defensively for Minnesota. They're going to need to be strong against the run in this one.
Stopping the run, that's been an issue for them all season long. Aren't you glad that you're not coaching the defense right now?
I'm very glad. They said that they've seen it in doses, but very, very small doses.
Yeah, you've got to be consistent. It's down in and down out, being able to play it, understand what you have to get done, and finally stop some people, put them on the ground.
Hey, 250.
Check 55 to Mike. You got nothing in there. You got nothing. Sponge. No.
Monday. What are you hot?
They'll try and run for it. Here's Johnson. And he will have the first down across the 20 to the 19-yard line. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script. You go through your play calling. You go through all the stuff and establish things, and it looks like it's going like clockwork right now for them.
Now on the heels of that run by Johnson, here's another 1st and 10. From the red zone now, Stafford. Caught by Wilson. And a good gain here of 9 from the 19 down to the 10. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. Charles, Thursday night game, I think a lot of teams probably say shrink the playbook somewhat. Is that correct?
I think you're right about that, because you just don't have the amount of time that you have in a normal week to put in a full playbook. So as you said, you shrink the playbook, pick out the plays that work best for you. And you know what else you're looking for? Who are the freshest guys coming off of the last game to play on a Thursday night? Guys have a little extra pep in their step. You go to them early and often.
And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. 7 yards there and a first down. The numbers for Johnson in last week's game, 11 carries, 56 yards.
And now that he's playing a Thursday night game, short week, you know he spent a lot of time in the trainer's room in the cold tub trying to get his legs back for this game.
Michael, set. 280. 50.
Check.
Stafford now to throw. Feeling the pressure here and taken down. A sack back at the 7. Ben Gideon able to get him for a loss of about 3. They were able to win last week despite him being sacked 4 times. They might need to tighten the reins a little bit, or this one may not end in another victory.
You're right about that. They can't count on just winning the game no matter what happens. They can't let the accumulation of hits and harassment in the pocket get to their quarterback. Got to stop that, give him clean lanes to throw the football in order to have a better chance to win again this week.
10.
On second down, Johnson. And that'll move him a little closer as he takes it from the 7 down to the 4-yard line. Driven it down the field nicely here on the opening drive, but now it's put up or shut up.
No doubt about it, because to make that type of a drive and ultimately kick a field goal would feel very disappointing. But I'm just wondering, is the head coach thinking, is this 4-down territory? Might he go for it?
Back to throw, Stafford. Under pressure, down he goes. Sacked at the 10. Ben Gideon able to drop him that time for his second sack of the evening. Charles, a little bit of feast or famine on this drive. They moved the ball okay, but they've been sacked twice now.
And they've got to figure out how to plug that leak a little bit, right? Keep them away from the quarterback because when he's not being hit, as you mentioned, they're moving the ball well.
And his kick is good. And the Lions are going to take a 3-0 lead. Well, after marching down the field, only getting 3 there, kind of feels like a win for the defense.
And it does. They'll go to the sideline feeling a lot better that they didn't give up a touchdown after the march against them. But if I were the offense, I wouldn't hang my head over that one. That's a good drive, and 3 points were put on the board.
Now it's Martin to do the honors after the made field goal. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here come the Vikings as they get set for their first drive. Leading them out is their 6'2 quarterback who was a 4th-round pick back in 2012, Kirk Cousins.
He had the numbers of a game last week that if you win, you talk about him being a gritty guy, managing the game, getting it done. But they lost. So obviously 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown pass, that's not going to be good enough. Got to get that changed around.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. And Diggs has it. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. A very nice pickup of 33 yards.
That was an excellent read right there. Saw cover 1. That means it's just a single high safety. So you know if you throw the ball to the outside part of the field, help is going to be a little bit late getting there. And he puts one out there for a big-time completion.
Pretty nice work defensively there on the first down run as they hold him to a gain of a couple. The numbers a week ago for Cook. 20 carries, 93 yards.
And now that he's playing a Thursday night game, short week, you know he spent a lot of time in the trainer's room in the cold tub trying to get his legs back for this game.
3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. On second down, it's Cook. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. Plays like we just saw there. That's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game. And that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage.
If they want a first, they need to get the football to the 32 here on 3rd down. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter. If they want a first, they need to get the football to the 32 here on 3rd down. From the gun, here's Cousins. And that'll be incomplete. Well, they took their shot all right, but it comes up empty, and it's 4th down. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning, hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces 4th down. The Vikings send out their punter, as he should be able to pin him back deep here with his first punt. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
And Detroit getting set to go now. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point?
The kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him at contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Super tall.
On first down, it's Stafford. Oh, nearly a disaster there on the check down. But they'll get it back. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10.
Middle.
Mike 5-4, Mike 5-4.
Five.
To throw again, Stafford. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Caught here by Conley. And that's not nearly going to be enough. Stopped at the 22, and he needed plenty more. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down. On 4th down, here's Sam Martin on to kick it away. He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. It's taken to the 26. 12 yards on the return that time. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. The Vikings offense making their way back out. Now let's give you a look at the playoff picture coming into the weekend in the NFC. And I tell you, 4 weeks still to go, and everything is wide open, and it's fun.
And I know we always talk about, well, if the playoffs were to begin today, and then we kind of go, okay, but they're not. Let's see how it plays out. Wouldn't it be fun to play with this playoff lineup right now? Because to me, just about anyone can win this whole thing out of this grouping we currently have. And by the time we get there, it may look entirely different.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. They start the drive with Cook. He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
The previous run, good for 9. Here's 2nd and a yard.
Watch tight. Tight is right. Watch
Cousins now. Oh, he got position on him, and he pulls it in. Cousins finding Diggs on a big one. 43 yards. For an offense that has not found the end zone yet, that's a big play.
There's the spark right there. The big play that they needed. Now they've got to go ahead and finish this drive and put this ball in the end zone.
So now following the big play, they've got a 1st and goal all the way down at the 10. And now a throw on 1st down there, but it's incomplete. Got out of the pocket. Didn't look like he had anybody open, Charles, so just gets rid of it.
And a good play by him. If no one's open and you don't have a running lane that you want to take, make the right choice. Get rid of it. Live to fight another down.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Throwing is Cousins. This is caught. And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air. And sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well. But a moot point there as they were able to connect. Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on third down. But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right? Yeah, exactly right. Third down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him. So it's an old-school extra point that counts 3 times. It's certainly a disappointment they weren't able to get it in the end zone. Yeah, I can just imagine post-game, head coach looking at the box score, 19-yard field goal, grimacing a little bit, but having to realize that at that moment, getting 3 points was vital. Go ahead and get the points, put them on the board. Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going. They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field. Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. And here's a good way to kick off a drive, complete over the middle. They'll get 17 that time, and the Lions have a first down. You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen. Throwing is Stafford. He's got the hook up with Conley. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it. Able to get 7 on that first down pass play. Second and 3.
Tighten up. He's coming. Double up, double up. He's coming, double up. 32. SOS.
Stafford going to give this one off to Johnson. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. 7 yards there and a first down. We don't talk about it very often, but sometimes there's a dip in intensity when you start the second half, which can manifest itself in some sloppy tackling. And how about right there? He ran right through that weak tackle attempt. Stafford, and that'll be knocked away. It's incomplete. Second quarter action with 1:59 remaining. Coming up at the half, a reminder, we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend.
Mike 54. Let's go, defense.
On 2nd and 10, Stafford. Caught by Jones. He's got the first down here inside the 30. 19 yards there on the catch and run.
Let's go.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender. Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10.
Just like that. Just like that. Kill, kill, kill. Check 20. Hurry. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, bang.
They go back to the ground with Johnson. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Hey, exit. We want this. Hey, one set.
On 2nd and 9, Stafford. And he'll complete this one to Fulgham. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. Could we get a touchdown in this first half after all? It's 1st and 10. Here's Johnson. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it 2nd down.
Well, that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short game.
To throw on 2nd and 6, Stafford toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete. He was trying to find Marvin Jones that time, and it's third down.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the second quarter, a lot of time to change things.
Check 52. Slam. Looking on.
On third down, Johnson. Give him 3 yards there as that'll take us to fourth down.
You got him. You got him.
That was well coached and even better executed because you saw him looking for the cutback lane, never materialized, and had excellent pursuit to stack that play up.
And for the second time tonight, this field goal unit comes out here. From the right hash here, should be an easy one. And his kick here is good. And they will take the lead here in this battle of field goals. It's 6-3. Now, the drive ends in just 3, but they'll take it. Looks like they'll head to the locker room, barring something unfortunate, in front on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they may not be jumping up and down and celebrating because they have the lead, but still, any little momentum in a game like this is important to a team, and they'll feel real good about going in and regrouping, knowing that they are out in front.
And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Time here for likely a couple plays if they want it, but with the field position what it is, maybe better suited to just sit on this one?
I'm with you totally. I would sit on it and get into the locker room and start over. But if they do decide to try and make a play, we know what the basics are. You run draw, you run screen. I would maybe run a little swing pass and try and get my lineman out in space and see if they can chop a hole into the secondary and see if he can run a little bit.
They'll keep it on the ground again here. And a pretty good run, all things considered. Probably would have liked that in the first quarter instead of right now as the clock continues to run. And this offense going to elect to burn a timeout with 5 seconds remaining in quarter number 2. And the Lions going with an extra DB here on third down. Final play of the half, Cousins. And unable to connect, incomplete. I'll give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up fourth down. So if you like field goals, this is your game. 6-3, 3 field goals at the break. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. We'll get back to you two in just a moment. First, we just want to give everybody a look ahead to what's in store for us this weekend as we enter the final month of this NFL season. Plenty to look forward to in that early window, one being a noontime start up in Green Bay. A big one for the Packers, as they'll have to contend with the visiting Pittsburgh Steelers. In the late afternoon games, the place to be might very well be Denver, Colorado, where it'll be the Broncos taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. And finally, a good one scheduled for Monday Night Football between the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a defensive struggle. Which offense can break through in the second half? To find out, let's hand it over to our broadcast team of Brandon Gotten and Charles Davis.
Thank you, sir. A field goal separates these two teams as we come back for this second half. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. And with the way this offense has played thus far, to be frank, they got to feel pretty grateful to be in the ball game.
I would agree with you totally because they've done all of nothing offensively in this game, yet they still find themselves in a position on this drive where a touchdown can give them the lead. They need to take advantage of it.
Now they're still looking for that first touchdown here in the third quarter. All they have so far, the field goal. Now the first play of the drive there is incomplete. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better. Got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. 12 yards there and a first down.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Working out of the gun, Cousins. He gets this one into the hands of Dalvin Cook. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36.
That play was well covered. Just tried to check it down. Unfortunately, we're not able to find any yardage on that one.
That pass play wound up for negative yardage, so here's 2nd and 11.
Check. Crunch.
Cousins gives way to Cook. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. Play fake. Cousins. And the pressure too much that time as Cousins goes down. Trey Flowers in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year. Chalk that up as their first sack in this game, and they tallied 4 a week ago.
And probably not as much exultation in that sack as what took us so long. Because when you get 4 the previous week, you're counting on continuing that momentum. They didn't get that done in the first half of the game. Let's see now if they start to bring even more exotic pressure towards the quarterback.
The Vikings send out their punter as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. He juked him. 49-yard punt, 5 on the return. And the Lions will take over. So we get a look at the Lions offense as they get ready for their first possession of the 2nd half. They were able to get the ball back here, didn't surrender any points. Now they'll look to add to that lead.
How about the boost the defense gave them? Going right out on the field, shutting them down, not giving up any points, and turning the ball back over. They want to do their part now and show them a little respect and some gratitude by scoring some points.
And to get a little more cushion. Just a yard on the catch there. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes this 2nd and 9. They give to Johnson going right. And he got blown up on that play. Back at the 20. Chalk that up as a 4-yard loss, and now it's 3rd down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage.
Check 21. 54.
I'm here all day.
Mike spot. Hey, Alpha.
Mike spot 4. Too little, cut.
Right there. 54. Right there. 54, Mike.
3rd and long. It's Stanford. And that will be incomplete. Rodney McLeod that time able to knock it away. This defense trying to do its part, active hands on that play, but their offense hasn't given them much to work with.
So they're not going to worry about it. On their side of the ball, all they're concerned about, can they create some scoring opportunities and help out that offense?
Taken in at the 22. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And now out comes Minnesota. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play. When you call a wide receiver screen, no matter how many blockers you get in front of the guy that catches the ball, there's still an aspect of the guy catching it, turning into a runner, breaking tackles, and creating his own yardage, and he just did on that play.
Now a throw here on second down, and that's complete. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. 7 yards there and a first down. First down, here's the run with Cook. Call that a gain of 5 as the clock ticks inside of 2 minutes to go now in the third.
Let's go, let's go. And we got Mike, number 53.
They follow up the gain of 5 by only getting 1 there on second down. Cousins from the gun on third. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Bud Dupree has now recorded 10 sacks on the season. And here the pressure from the outside linebacking spot.
And normally when that happens and they're able to get home, that means the other guys on his team helped him out a lot. That they occupied people to allow it to be no less than a one-on-one situation, allows him to get home.
The Vikings send out their punter as he's on here to punt it away. And not what he was hoping for there, as this will hit in the end zone for a touchback. So the Lions offense ready to go back out onto the field. Their defense has done the job. Now it's the offense's turn as they've got it 1st and 10. Stafford and the Lions now have it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Watch the run. Whip. Watch the whip.
From the gun, here's Stafford. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. On second down now, it's Johnson. He'll get about 3 as he's taken down at the 23.
Well, that's a good start to this drive on the defensive side of the ball.
Force the incompletion on first down. Then you're able to shut down the running play on second.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised now. A little bit of pressure going at the quarterback in an expected passing situation.
To throw is Stafford. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Everson Griffin in there to get him for a loss of 9 yards, and that also leads to 4th down. And we say it all the time, have to be able to get rid of the ball sooner than that.
You have to help your offensive line out. They're going to protect you as best they can. And if you're getting 3 to 5 seconds to throw the ball, they're doing a really nice job. But when you hold it and give up a sack, you're really almost discrediting their work.
Give them 11 yards that time on the return. And the Vikings, they'll be set up well as they take over in great field position. 1st and 10. And as this offense makes their way back out, it's AFC playoff race time as we give you a look. Both teams working on short rest, but this has been one of the better Thursday night games we've seen as they come up here on 1st and 10. Going deep for Diggs. And that'll wind up incomplete. Try to give his man room to run under it, but it's second down. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
53 to Mike. 53.
Throwing, Cousins. And the pressure too much that time as Cousins goes down. Well, it was 2nd long. Now it's 3rd and even longer. They're going in the wrong direction here.
Because they're moving them exactly the way they want to, but you're exactly right. Definitely going in the wrong direction for the offensive guys.
So now after the sack, Cousins and the Vikings come up here 3rd and long.
I can't believe they even let you play.
3rd and long for Cousins. Under pressure again, and down he goes again. Coming off the line, he's been wreaking havoc all year. And look, that's why, as a result, he's getting some looks for Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL.
And I know that many people don't have him first on their list right now, but he deserves that type of consideration. You mentioned it. all year long, he's made big plays and continues to do so. Imagine if he has a big game here. If so, he could vault himself right into the #1 spot.
He'll field this at the 5. So possession goes over here on the punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. And Detroit getting set to go now. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
so well. Go to something else.
And maybe you try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
Hey, 70!
Throwing on 2nd down. Stafford. Well, this is taken in. It's complete. A gain there of 30 big ones.
Well, we spent a lot of time exalting the offensive masterminds in this game, right? They draw up these beautiful plays. They look so perfect up on the board. But occasionally, sometimes you just say, throw it up and let him go get it. How about that play?
The big play has him all the way out near midfield for a 1st and 10. Johnson. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3. 4th quarter, you've got the lead. You have to stay in bounds and run that clock. Coaches, that'll drive them crazy.
Sacrifice a yard or two if you have to. Just go down, in bounds, keep that clock going. It's almost like he was caring more about his fantasy stats than it was about winning the game, and that has to drive a coach crazy.
It's Everson Griffin who made the tackle. Here we go, 3rd and 1. Gut check time on both sides.
40 got.
Now Johnson. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. It's a gain of 10 for the Lions and a 1st down.
But they didn't accomplish their goal. They didn't get a stop there, gave up another 1st down. They have all 3 timeouts in their pocket. I think defensively you've got to start thinking about using them here.
I was just going to ask you at what point you think now's the go time?
I think now's the go time. I don't think you sit back and wait because they can take a lot of time off the clock between plays and run 3 to 4 and really put you in a stressful spot.
I'm going to get you all day.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before you get a good head of steam going.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6.
Hey, you don't want to see me. You don't want it. Hey, watch this.
Now a 10th carry for Johnson. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 11 yards there, 1st down.
I know we're in the era of wide-open football, a lot of spread formations, more space, but there's still a spot for power football, and we just saw some of it right there. How about that run?
Yeah, breaking the tackle, and, you know, late in this game, he wants the football in his hands. He's had a good day. They're not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. 3 points separating these two sides with 2 minutes left to go in the 4th. So the Lions in possession of the football as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. They stay on the ground on 1st with Johnson. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. The 1st down run got 5. Here's 2nd and 5.
It's going to be a long day, offense. It's going to be a long day. Alert!
On the ground, this is Johnson. And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. And now with 1:52 to go, we get another pause in the action. A timeout here defensively. Here comes play number 9 now as they come up on a 3rd and 3.
Hey, 22! Mike 55.
Hey, Foxtrot, Foxtrot.
Get me up. Here we go. Hey, check right, check right. Hey. Here I come. Mike 55. Right there in the middle. 55. Okay, double up. Hey, easy.
Check 55 to Mike.
Watch the run. It's Monday.
And the play clock is going to run out here. They're in no hurry to get a play on. So that'll back them up 5.
Still third down.
And the delay of game penalty makes this much more difficult. 3rd and 8.
Come on now. 32. Go.
Now it's Stafford. Now look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Eric Kendricks. And he returns it here to his own 18-yard line. You got the slim lead late and the football, so why are you throwing it there?
Remember during the year when we asked one of the head coaches, if you're in this spot, why would you throw the ball? And he talked about trusting his quarterback and trusting his offense.
But still.
And then at the end he kind of went, yeah, not really a good reason.
10 yards, and it's good for a Viking first down. He's back to throw. That's caught by the tight end, Irv Smith Jr. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. He'll look to throw. Obviously a big first down right there.
Yeah, they still got to hustle. They got to get up to the line of scrimmage and get set. But I don't think necessarily you need to spike it. But they've got to continue to move quickly.
Back to throw. And it's incomplete. Boy, he doesn't drop many like that one. 2nd down. They work again from the 38 on 2nd and 10. Now Cousins. Complete. Smith has it. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. They'll look to throw, and he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. Back to throw, and he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and that will force a turnover on downs. The D brought the house, they called the blitz, and they get to the quarterback, overwhelming the O-line.
And I would love to know, and we'll find out later on, was that called before the play, or did they audible into it? Because defenses change plays as well as offenses. Sometimes they get the set they want. They go right to the blitz, and in this case, they nailed it. Got right to the quarterback. No chance on that 4th down.
The Vikings going to use their 3rd and final timeout, as it'll come with 15 seconds to play in the ball game.
Check. Watch 54. Hey, tight down.
Stafford down to a knee, and with it, he's going to ensure his guys a victory.
A loss of a yard. It's now 3rd and 13.
Well, Charles, the old saying, the old cliche, if you will, points at a premium, that certainly applied here, didn't it?
And that almost felt like opened up a time capsule, didn't it? Old school football, low scoring, close game. What a way to finish it up.
You loved it, didn't you?
I
loved the defensive.
I certainly did. Brought back the images of the game of old.
So for Detroit, the win pushes their record now to 11-2 on the year. And they'll get a few extra days to get ready for next week. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, it's unfortunately more of the same as they'll fall to 3-10 on the year. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew here at EA Sports, I'm Brandon Gaudin saying so long, everybody.